Hello, Barmy Padrami. Welcome to today's show. This review is a long time coming. As you know on the channel, I don't really review games that much because I don't really have the confidence in it. Insert because I have been waiting so long for this game to come out properly. I am going to review it and put my 10 pence in. Now, this game was originally meant to come out quite a few years ago in the UK. It originally came out on a limited run disc and on the American PlayStation Store, and of course on the Switch. Now, for some reason, I don't really understand why, it didn't arrive on the UK store. I am flummoxed. I moaned at Limited Run quite a bit because they said that they were going to ship copies of the disc as well to the UK, and that never happened. They ended up being 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds online because it was originally meant to be in the UK on the store for 25 quid as a disc in game and stuff. And that never happened. And neither did the digital release. I'm not too sure why, but it eventually happened the other week, and I was like, woohoo! 15 quid. A bit steep for a game that I've been waiting forever for, but it is the 25th anniversary edition. And yes, it's totally awesome. There's several different game modes. You can do the Mega CD one, you can do all sorts of different game modes that have appeared over the previous times and years and consoles, and I'm very pleased with that. There's also a remix version. There's also another version with new updated icons. This version I'm going to be doing is about the PlayStation 4 version with the better visuals and the full screen. So you can pretty much see what you're meant to be doing. Because without that, using the original ideas and the original way to do it, it's brick hard, and you need a guide that tells you every single second. Even on the PS4 version, this game is still hard as cojones, and you really need to be watching every single frame at the bottom. You need to be looking at exactly what's going on in front of you, and you need to be checking up and making sure that the bar is on the right side of where it should be. If it's green or yellow or red, once it's on red, that's how you kill the orcs. But you need to be watching everything all at once, all the time. Yes, it is one of the hardest PlayStation 4 games I've ever played. And yes, it's one of the hardest games of red light, green light, Simon Says I've ever played at all. Now, the plot does not make a wicked bit of sense because there's weird org, knackered, toothless, half dead vampires, and the reason why they're wearing the weird suits is to keep their flesh in, apparently. Uh, they can't actually drink blood via their fangs. They have to use these weird tongue things. And, and the real vampires are in it still, but they're like not quite the bad. They're the bad guys, but they're not quite the bad guys. They're like the middle bad guys. The main bad guys you're focusing on are the orcs. But what makes me laugh is when you went into it, surely they didn't know that the orcs were going to be there, right? Because neither did the main vampires. So how did the SWAT team or SCAT team know that the orcs were going to be there? Because the main villains didn't either. They went in thinking that they were going to get the other vampires, right? Right? It hurts my brain. But then obviously you were able to use the traps to disarm the orcs, and then so you got rid of that threat, and then obviously you move on to the other side of the storyline which has a smattering of Bram Stoker's Dracula, a smattering of I'm going to lure you here to eat you, and a smattering of I don't really understand what the heck's going on because you're changing codes all the time. Now, and obviously you can't follow the plot that quickly and complete the game. If you try and follow the plot, you'll die really quick because you're like, what's going on? It's almost like the plot of the game is there to confuse you from killing and winning the game. And I'm like, by the end of it, you've won, but you don't know what the heck's going on. But the beauty of that is you can watch every scene in its own movie type thing. And I'm not moaning about this. I love the game. And I think it is quintessentially 90s video nasty trash. It's not even meant to be, you know. When they made it, they thought it was perfectly harmless. But it turns out it ended up causing lots of trouble with the video game classification board. It upset lots of people in lots of high places, and they didn't even realise how or why. But when you play it now, you can understand why they were upset back in the day. But now you think this is insane twaddle. It's like Carry On Screaming, but a bit gorier with traps. My favourite one has to be the bed one, where the closet pops out, the bed, the person goes on the bed, and then they get flung out from the bed. It's hilarious, it really is. And when you find out that the actual main vampires made the traps and not the sort of like team made the traps. It doesn't even make any more sense more than anything. What would have made more sense was if the like sort of like team went in, put the traps in there to trap the vampires. I'm like, why was there traps in there anyway? Because surely they would have just eaten the people, right? I don't know. The plot line is so wibbly, but it's hilarious. And that is what part of the charm is. Trying to figure out the plot line will just make your brain explode. But if you enjoy the fact that you've got to do all this different multitasking, killing all these vampires, watching out for the codes and everything, it's really fun and keeps you on the edge of your seat. I'm yet to play the remix version, but I'm thoroughly enjoying playing the normal one. I got, I think, 75 odd out of 100. That was my top score so far. So I really love this game. It's quintessentially cheesy, video nasty rubbish. And it is so much fun. And it's been well worth the wait. I've been looking forward to playing this game on the PlayStation for years, as I feel that even on the Switch, it doesn't quite do it justice. Even though Nintendo said years ago that this would never appear on there, so I'm very pleased that it is on there, but it doesn't quite work on the Switch as well as I'd want it to. But on the PlayStation 4 and 5, I think it's fantastic. So I'm going to give this cheesy, video nasty bunch of old wobbly stuff that doesn't really make a lot of sense unless you watch it all back to back a good solid 9 out of 10 for gameplay. Storyline, I'm yet to really figure out what the hell's going on. But gameplay's fantastic. The graphics are still cool. The mechanics and the gameplay are great. And obviously, the cheesy 90s feel is fantastic. Let me know your thoughts on Nerd Trap 25th Anniversary Edition. Do you think it's worth 15 quid and all that sort of stuff? Comment in the comments and let me know your thoughts. And happy Halloween, everyone. And I'll see you next time. Bye.